We have to find her!
She couldn't have gone far.
On the night of October 14th, everything looked normal. The charity gala ended at exactly 9:07 p.m. Guests laughed, glasses clinked, and Eleanor Whitmore, known by many in town as the Duchess, waved goodbye as she stepped into the cold night air. She got into her car. She drove away, and she was never seen again. 12 minutes later, her car was found on the side of a quiet road. The engine was still running. Her purse was on the passenger seat. Her phone was gone, and the driver's door was wide open. There were no signs of a struggle, no skid marks, no witnesses, no explanation. But what investigators would later discover would reveal that Eleanor Whitmore didn't just disappear. She had been planning her disappearance for months, and the reason why shocked everyone who thought they knew her. Before we continue, I'm curious. Where are you watching from? What time is it there right now? And what's the weather like today? I read every comment, so let me know below. Now, let's go back to the beginning. Eleanor Whitmore wasn't just anyone. She was wealthy, elegant, respected. She organized charity events, funded hospital wings, and hosted some of the most exclusive dinners in the county. People called her the Duchess because of the way she carried herself. Graceful, composed, untouchable. She lived in a massive estate just outside town with her husband Richard Whitmore, a successful investment consultant. From the outside, they looked like the perfect couple. Perfect house, perfect marriage, perfect life. But after Eleanor disappeared, investigators began asking questions. And those questions turned into a mystery that still fascinates people today. Why did Eleanor leave the gala early that night? Why was her phone never found? Why did her husband wait 3 hours before calling the police? And who was the man she had been secretly meeting for months? Eleanor Whitmore moved to the town almost 18 years before she disappeared. She wasn't born rich. She wasn't born into power. She married into it. Richard Whitmore came from old money, family money, the kind that builds estates and endowments and puts names on buildings. When Eleanor married Richard, people said she was lucky, but people who knew Eleanor said something different. They said Richard was the lucky one. Eleanor was charming, intelligent, warm. She remembered people's names. She wrote handwritten thank you notes. She donated quietly without telling anyone. She became the face of charity events, art galas, hospital fundraisers, and community programs. If there was a fundraiser in town, Eleanor was there. But behind the perfect image, the marriage wasn't as perfect as it seemed. Friends later told investigators that Richard was controlling. Not violent, not aggressive, just controlling. He managed the finances. He decided where they traveled. He didn't like Eleanor working too much. He didn't like her being out late. He didn't like her independence. Over time, Eleanor became quieter, more private, more distant. And then something happened that no one knew about at the time. Eleanor fell in love with someone else. Let's go back to the night of the gala. Timeline, October 14th. 6:30 p.m., charity gala begins. 8:40 p.m., Eleanor seen talking on phone outside. 8:52 p.m., witness says she looked upset. 9:07 p.m., Eleanor leaves gala early. 9:18 p.m., gas station camera captures her car. 9:31 p.m., her car is found abandoned. 12:40 a.m., husband reports her missing. 3 hours. Richard Whitmore waited 3 hours before calling the police. He later said he thought she had gone to a friend's house. He said this wasn't unusual. He said he didn't want to overreact. But investigators found that strange. Very strange. When police arrived at the abandoned car, they found purse, wallet, jewelry, car keys, engine still running, driver door open, but her phone was missing. That meant one thing. Either she walked away voluntarily, or someone took her. And then investigators discovered something else. There were 2 sets of footprints near the road. The town exploded with rumors. Some believed she had been kidnapped. Some believed Richard had something to do with it. Some believed she ran away. Police started with the husband, Richard Whitmore. Investigators discovered his investments were failing. He had hidden debts. He had recently increased Eleanor's life insurance. He deleted phone calls from the night she disappeared. Now he became the main suspect. But then another discovery changed everything. Detectives found emails, hundreds of emails, between Eleanor and a man named Daniel Harper. Daniel Harper was a real estate developer from another state. The emails were romantic, very romantic. They had been seeing each other for almost a year. They met at a charity event. They started emailing, then calling, then meeting secretly. Hotel records later showed Eleanor had taken multiple charity trips that were actually trips to meet Daniel. And then investigators found the most important email of all. It was sent 2 weeks before she disappeared. It read, "I can't live like this anymore. I'm ready to leave. October 14th. After the gala, everything will be ready." That changed the entire investigation. Let me ask you something. Do you think Eleanor was kidnapped? Or do you think she planned everything and ran away? Tell me what you think in the comments. I really want to know your theory. Police tracked Daniel Harper. But Daniel Harper had disappeared too. He had sold his house, closed his bank account, quit his job, left his apartment empty, withdrawn cash, bought a one-way plane ticket under a different name. This was not random. This was planned. Investigators now believed Eleanor Whitmore had staged her own disappearance. But they still had one big question. How did she leave the car on the road without anyone seeing her? The answer came from a truck driver. A truck driver came forward and said he saw a woman standing by the road that night next to a dark SUV. He said the woman got into the SUV and it drove away slowly with the lights off. Police pulled traffic cameras from nearby highways. And eventually, they found the SUV. It was a rental car, rented by Daniel Harper. Now everything started to make sense. Here's what investigators believe happened that night. Eleanor left the gala early. She drove to the quiet road. She left her purse and car running to make it look like an abduction. She took only her phone and a small bag. She waited by the road. Daniel picked her up in the SUV. They drove to the airport. They flew to another country under fake names. Eleanor Whitmore didn't disappear. She escaped. She left her husband. She left her town. She left her life. She left everything behind. On purpose. Police later confirmed that Eleanor had withdrawn cash over several months, opened a bank account under a different name, sold jewelry privately, applied for a passport renewal secretly, stored documents in a safe deposit box, written letters but never sent them. She had been planning her new life for almost a year. Richard Whitmore was never charged with anything, but he later said something in an interview that people still talk about today. He said, "I would have given her everything if she had just asked for a divorce. I never thought she would disappear instead." Eleanor Whitmore was never officially declared dead, but she was never found either. Some people believe she is living somewhere in Europe. Some believe she changed her name and started a new life. Some believe she eventually contacted her family in secret. Some believe she regrets leaving. But no one knows for sure. The case became known as the night the Duchess disappeared. And to this day, people still ask the same question. Was she running away from something? Or running towards someone? Before you go, I want to ask you 3 things. Do you think Eleanor did the right thing? Would you disappear to start a new life if you had the chance? What do you think happened after she left? Tell me in the comments. And if you enjoy real stories, mysteries, and documentaries like this, make sure you subscribe, because the next story I'm working on might be even more shocking. Thank you for watching. And remember, sometimes people don't disappear because they're taken. Sometimes they disappear because they choose to.